Hello and welcome back to Board Game Acrobat, where today we're going to be having a look at this game here, Boss Monster, the dungeon building card game. So, Boss Monster is for 2 to 4 players, ages 13 up, and plays in about 30 minutes. As you can see there, by the front cover, it is very pixelated inspired, and it's by Brotherwise games. So, Boss Monster. Inspired by classic video games, Boss Monster challenges you to become a villain, build a dungeon, lure in adventurers, and destroy them. Boss Monster is a standalone card game that challenges 2 to 4 players to become video game style villains and build deadly side control in dungeons. Players compete to see who can lure and destroy the most adventurers. Be aware, you must make your dungeon as deadly as it is attractive, or the puny heroes might kill you first. Are you a bad enough dude to become the ultimate boss monster? So, what I'll do is I'll go through how the game plays a bit, and then I shall give you my thoughts on the game at the end of the video. So, Boss Monster has a little quick startup guide there, which is quite nice. If you don't want to go through all of the rules but want the basics of the rules, they are there. You have all of these room cards, and you can tell which type of cards they are because of the back. So I'll quickly set up for a 2-player game just so you can get the gist of how it plays. So you set up the room deck there. You have your boss cards, which are green on the back. So you'd shuffle them and randomly assign each player a boss so that people don't have the same bosses each time. So this time I am Seducia, and my opponent is Gorgona. Then you also have Spell Deck, which you can, being awkward to get out, which you can tell by the backs being that design. Obviously, the fact that they say which deck is on them is nice as well. Give them a quick shuffle and pop them next to the room deck. And then you have your heroes. So there are 2 different types of heroes. So normal heroes are grey in colour, grey/silver, and then epic heroes, which are gold in colour, and obviously on the back say epic heroes. So as I'm setting up for a 2-player game, I'd have a look at this symbol here and take out all of the ones that just have 2. For a 3-player game, I take out all of the ones that just had 3 and below. So I'd be taking out the 2s and the 3s. 4-player game, 2, 3, 4. Then I'd send all of the normal heroes back to the box as they are not needed. Give the heroes a shuffle and pop them on this side of the playing area, again where everyone can reach. And then I do the same for the epic heroes, as they all have the 2, 3 or 4 on as well. And I give them a shuffle and I put them next to the normal heroes, as you have to go through all of the normal heroes before you get to the epic heroes. And then some of the heroes will come to town. So as there are 2 people playing, 2 heroes enter town first. For a 3-player game, 3 heroes would enter. 4-player game, 4 heroes would enter. Okay, so now I will give each player 5 room cards. 5. And 2 spell cards. And I am ready to start the game. So how it works is you build a dungeon to the left of your boss to try and defeat any of heroes that are coming to your dungeon before they reach and wound your boss. And to do this, there are different types of rooms. So there are normal room cards, which will just say what kind of room they are. And there are advanced room cards, which will say up here, advanced so-and-so room. And so we go into the build phase next. And to do that, we check how much experience each of our bosses has, because the monster with the highest experience would go first in every single round. So I have the highest experience here, as my opponent only has 500 to my 600. So I would take any ordinary room, not advanced rooms, and pop it face down to the left of my boss. My opponent would then do the same. Once I place my room face down, I cannot change it once it goes on to the next players, and then we both simultaneously flip over our dungeon. And that is how the build phase works. However, there are certain spell cards that you can use in the build phase, so you can tell when you can use a spell card by this little corner. So as you can see, this one just has a hammer, which means I can only use this spell during the build phase. However, this one only has an axe, which means I can only use it during the adventure phase. However, some spell cards have both of those lying across each other in the corner, which means you're able to use it during the build or the adventure phase. So, after we've all built our room, we then go into the lure phase, and we lure heroes to our dungeon by the treasure that we have. And our boss has a treasure, and all of the rooms has one or more treasure. And each hero has their own treasure ability. So depending on how many of that treasure is in each dungeon, the person with the most type of that treasure, the hero gets lured to your dungeon and waits at the end of your dungeon. However, if it's a draw, or if nobody has that treasure, the heroes will stay in town. So say I lured the thief into my dungeon, it would then starting with me, everyone would go to the end of the dungeons that they're going to go to, but then during the adventure phase it would go back to how much XP we have. So in order that they came into town, each hero would then go through my dungeon one room at a time, as my opponent might want to use some spell cards. So it goes into the first room, it will take the damage from this bit and any of the ability of the room to its health, which is here. And if it makes it through, I put it to the left of my, to the right of my boss, face up, and now it counts as one wound, as you can see by the blood drop. However, if I defeated it, if it died during one of my rooms in my dungeon, it would then be placed face down, which then has one of these coins, which is a soul. And you keep going like this. You'd then invite two more heroes into town. Each player would draw one room card into their hand, and then you'd be back at the build phase. Now, I can either place another normal room face down next to my old room, or if it is a normal room, I can build it on top of the room that is already existing. However, for advanced rooms, as you can see, this one, I can only build that on top of a normal room with a matching treasure symbol. So, as this card has a money symbol, I cannot build this room with the holy symbol on top of it. However, if I had laid the dragon hatchery, which has one of each symbol, I'd be able to play the advanced room by putting it on top during the build phase and then revealing it and keeping it on over the top of that room for the rest of that turn, or as long as it's there. Now, every boss also has a level up ability, and the most rooms you can have in your dungeon across is 5 rooms. So as soon as I built my 5th room into my dungeon, I would then level up and use that ability. Now, some of the boss's abilities would be happening straight away, and then they wouldn't happen again throughout the game. However, some of them will, and it will stay on top of them, will be throughout the rest of the game, and it will explain to you how you can use it. And yeah, in a nutshell, that is how you play Boss Monster. If you want a more in-depth look at that, I do have a how to play video on this channel, so go check that out. But yeah, other than that, it's first to 10 souls, or and you win, or it's first to 5 wounds and you lose. So my thoughts about this game is I really enjoy the replayability because of it's quite a thick room deck, which means there is quite a lot of rooms that can happen. Obviously the heroes will be coming out in different orders, and because of the bosses are randomized each time, you don't know who you're going to get. You can't play to your boss depending on their level up ability, say. I also enjoy how each game, there are about 3 or 4 maybe versions of Boss Monster now. They have 3 or 4 standalone games. However, you can mix them all together and make a big game, again making the replayability very much easier. There's also a few expansions to add new rooms, spells, bosses, and heroes to the game, and promo characters and such, which again will really help replayability. My only thing with mixing, such as the standalone games, which can be mixed together, there is no easy way of telling which game is which. So if you want to keep them, such as this one, and then the next level, you want to use them all together, but you also want to make sure you have them in the separate places, you would then have to go through looking at the date down there as to when all of the cards were made to be able to separate them, which isn't particularly a problem, but because of it's quite small at the bottom, it can be quite annoying, and it wouldn't be too hard just to put a little symbol in like the top corner or something, or somewhere on the card, so you'd be able to use them all together, but also know that you can play them separately. I think that would have been quite nice. It's not too complicated. However, if you don't know everything that you can do and how it all works together, it can be a little slow to play, and it might be a little bit complicated because of, as you can see, there is quite a lot of cards out at the moment, and there's only 5 wounds before you die, especially with these epic heroes, where some of them are worth 2 wounds each. However, all of the epic heroes are worth 2 souls as well. So by the time you get there, it's quite easy to, if you can kill the epic heroes, that is, it's easier to destroy them and get up the souls a lot quicker. Overall, I think this is a lovely game. I've enjoyed playing it each time I've played. Building your dungeon is quite fun each time, and the fact that you are the boss monster rather than the hero, and you're destroying the heroes, I think that's just like a fun little thing. And yeah, if you have enjoyed this video, make sure you do hit that like button, and please do consider subscribing to get more board game related information and just everything, and my opinions on games and such as that. And until next time, share the love of board games.